Hello, welcome to a 9th battle report. It's Giant T here. We've got the Vampire Covenant versus the Undying Dynasties. Two fantastic undead armies. A friend of mine playing the Vampire Covenant and I'm playing the Undying Dynasties. It's an army I looked into many months ago, just before the end times, and borrowed it off a friend of mine. I've had it ever since, so I thought I might as well blow the dust off and give it a go. So my opponent here, he's got 5 dire wolves, 3 vampire spawns, a unit of, I think it's like 30 or 35 skeletons, unit of barrow guard there in the middle with a banshee in it. Next to them again, he's got another unit of 30 skeletons, I think, or 35 skeletons. 3 fell bats, 2 spirit hosts. Behind that, he's got a cadaver wagon and a unit of zombies with 3 or 4 barrow guard in it. He's got no vampire in there, but he's got a few tricksy things up his sleeve. I can't exactly remember what the builds are, because the game took a while. Sorry, the game was played a while ago. So something really different for me to play with. You know, I've got to look at my leadership bubble for crumbling and march and movement and all that sort of malarkey. So, I mean, I've gone the terracotta route. So I've got a general on the terracotta. I've got a, I think it's 2 architects, 1 in the chariot unit, 1 in the necropolis guard. I've got a hierophant in the skeleton unit, and in there I've got 20 skeleton archers. I've got 5 skeleton knights or horses, whatever you call them. 6 chariots, including the hero one. So it's not including the hero one. So I've got 7 there. I've got a colossus with no body, so you just wouldn't pin together for that during the day. A catapult and a casket. So the spells I rolled, I've got the 0 and number 2 there. You know, not too bad spells. I like the attribute for it. You know, you automatically res up, which is quite good. My opponent rolled a lot of, you know, you just took a lot of the invocations, a lot of Rise of the Dead. So it should be an interesting game. So, yeah, you know, we'll get to it and see how it goes. Undying Dynasties get to go first. So just before I go into the game, I actually got 2 Sand Scorpions as well, which you'll see come up later on. So this picture here is just of Vanguard movement. So then we go into the movement phase itself, where I just move everything up slightly, just outside his charge range. So I don't want to be charged. I want to get those impacting hits in from the chariots, and that's it. We go on to magic now. I have a pretty good magic phase roll. The only one I can do, the only one spell I got in range, you know, which I messed up on really, with my movement, he dispels. So not a lot going on there. Into shooting, my catapult goes for his Varkulak, which I completely forgot he had, to be honest, and misses wildly. The casket, which, you know, I think is an absolutely fantastic bit of kit for the Undying Dynasties. He goes to put his magical shooting attack on the cadaver wagon. Now, the reason I did this, I know the wagon can give some quite nasty buffs, because I've been on the receiving end of it before. So I want to try and kill that before I can get into combat. Unfortunately, I don't do any wounds to it. The skeleton riders go for the dire wolves and kill 2 of them. Fantastic shooting, well done boys. And then the skeleton archers themselves, a big unit of 20 there, go to shoot at the barrow guard. Now I'm trying to whittle these guys down before they get into combat as well, with my shooting, but unfortunately I only do 3 wounds to them, which I know full well he will get back on his turn. The tokens you can see lying around are for our secondary objective, which was for breakthrough. So we're going to go into the top of turn 1 for Vampire Covenant. His Vampire Spawn passes Frenzy Test, but he decides to charge my Archer Riders anyway, which I'm more than happy with. Because as you see, they got in and they're going to have to overrun and keep them out of the game for a couple of turns. Fantastic for me. He brings his Varkalak up around the house to try and get a flank. Not on his next turn, but the turn after on my archers, and just shuffles everything around, brings them up slightly. Here you can see he's got a fantastic magic phase, but unfortunately he doesn't do a lot for him. I think he just raises a few zombies, and I'll dispel the rest. And going into combat, his Vampire Spawn make very, very short work of my Skeleton Archers and overrun. So I think that ended up like half an inch away from the table edge. Happy days. So obviously in my opponent's turn, he moved his dire walls in front of my chariots. Like I said earlier, very, very long time ago this game was playing, I can't remember exactly what happened. So we charge him anyway, early charge, we shuffle everything up a little bit. And for those of you who do play the Undying Dynasties, you will notice something a little bit wrong there. Very, very unintentional cheating going on, unfortunately. But if you don't play the Undying Dynasties, when you've got a terracotta army, the Sand Scorpions cannot use their underground ambush rule. So yeah, a little bit of unintentional cheating done by myself. We had a chat about this. My opponent said he doesn't think it impacted the game enough, but I felt a bit bad for it anyway. But we'll go through the phases as it is, and I'll point out what he means by it wouldn't have interrupted the game. Okay, for movement, I moved my Colossus Giant rather quickly up the flank, out of line of sight of his unit there, because I want to try and get him strapped down in the middle now. The rest of my movement, the archers just swivel around, like move across slightly, so I can try and get some shots on his Varkalak or any other unit in front of him. And the Necropolis Guard just move up the table so they're in line with the chariots. So for magic phase, I roll 6. Don't get anything off. My opponent dispels everything. My catapult goes for his Spirit Host and hits. He gets 2 wounds on Spirit Host and kills a couple of the unit next to him as well. Yay for magical attacks. The Casket goes for his Cadaver Wagon again, because I don't really want that alive in combat. Giving out those synergies, like +1 to hit, so the lightning reflexes and everything, and cause 2 wounds. So the Skeletal Archers unit here goes for the Barrow Guard again. Again, we're just trying to thin out the ranks if we can. I know he grows them quite quickly, but you've got to try and do it. And kills 3. Okay, so 2 turns of shooting, both of them killing twice, 3 models a turn. Absolutely fantastic, so it's a nice average shooting there. And the chariots make short work of the dogs. And it's just a quick overview of how the battlefield looks now. So in my opponent's next turn, he takes his Barrow Guard and charges into my Necropolis Guard. His skeletons try to charge my skeletal archers on my left flank, and his skeletons go to charge my chariots on my right flank. I actually think it's quite a bad idea at this precise moment for him, because if he does fail, I've got some quite nice counter charges to go in against him, which could possibly cost my opponent the game. And unfortunately, the dice gods weren't with my opponent, and he fails all 3 of his charges. What a shame for me. His movement, he manages to bring his Vampire Spawn back around the flank. brings his Spirit Host forward, his Barrowguard, Barrow King unit forward, and brings his Varkalak back around the other side of the house now to try and get that flank charge. Again, quite a nice average round of magic, but he just raises his Barrowguard back up and his zombies back up and skeletons back up and does what a vampire does best. And no combat. Undying Dynasties charging. Fantastic. So, the Colossus goes into the side of the skeletons on the right flank there. I put the Necropolis Guard and the Chariot into his Barrow Guard unit. So they're quite a nasty unit, so I want to get as many attacks and many impact hits as I can to try and crumble them down. And I also put the Sand Scorpion into the same unit as the Colossus, and the other Sand Scorpion goes into his character bunker. Now, at this point, this is where my opponent said that it didn't really matter about the Sand Scorpions popping up, because I had him pinched down behind his lines and he couldn't move his bunker unit anyway. And the only thing you could do is just shuffle around a bit up there. I do feel quite bad that it was a bit of unintentional cheating going on, but new army, new rules and all that sort of rubbish. And so, but hopefully victory will be mine. So the odds of that happening were absolutely fantastic, and they did. They all got in. So hopefully I'll get a good magic phase now and let the slaughter begin. Movement, I'll just try and face the oncoming skeleton unit and the Varkalaks for shooting. Yes, look at that, double sixes for magic. I should be able to win this game from here, I think. Cause another wound on his cadaver wagon. Yeah, really happy with that. Managed to cause a wound on his Varkalak there as well. Fantastic as well. So, not a great turn of magic with 12 dice, but I've done, managed to get something done. The catapult goes for a skeleton unit there on these left flank, and we kill 6. It's not too bad. So it's strength 3, toughness 3, so 4 wounds. It's not too bad. Skeleton archer unit actually goes, and while we're shooting them, might as well keep shooting, and I don't think we kill any more of them. I didn't even kill one of them. The casket, want to call it a casket. Soulsman's going to call it the casket. Goes for the spirit hosts there. They've already got a couple of wounds on them, so hopefully a couple more. Yep, kills one right out, and he leaves one with 1 wound on it. So that's a fantastic turn of shooting for myself. So going into combat there, the Colossus and the Sand Scorpion make short work of that skeleton archer. Sorry, the skeletons. The Barrowguard kill 3 of my unit and 1 of my skeleton chariot units, and then we just absolutely pulverise that unit to smithereens. And that's after his crumble. I was hoping he'd crumble a little bit more so I could run into his character bunker. But as it was, the Sand Scorpion peeled off the back 2 ranks by himself and won that combat. So it's not a bad turn for the Undying Dynasties. So turn 3 for the Vampire Covenant. This is a very, very quick overview of what's going on. He charges the Varkalak on the side of the Necropolis Guard and goes to charge the Spirit Host into the Necropolis Guard as well. But just after reading it, I said to him, look mate, I had to double check the rules when they have got magical attacks, so I said, take it back. Vampire Spawn just moved a bit closer in charge range. Cadaver Wagon comes down to buff up his units, and so does his character bunker. So doesn't get a great deal off of magic, just raises a few, which helps him out a lot. So we just go to the main combat here in the centre. It does a hell of a lot more damage to me this turn. I'll lose this combat quite significantly, but being undead, we stay around. So then we go to the Colossus and the Sand Scorpion combat with the skeletons, and they absolutely pulverise the crap out of that unit and turn to face the Cadaver Wagon and his character bunker. So the top of Undying Dynasties turn 4, the table looks a little bit like this. All the dead models are there for resin purposes, just by my units. So we're going to charges quickly. The Sand Scorpion into the wagon, the Colossus into the Barrow Guard. Hopefully both of them will make short work of that. And the Skeletons decide they want to charge instead of be charged. Obviously they're all quite very short distances, so they all make them in. Perfectly happy. I think I'm definitely going to win both of those combats and hopefully overrun. And I should definitely win that combat. Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. So magic is non-existent for me really. He dispels pretty much everything I throw at him. So straight to shooting. The catapult goes for his vampire spawn and gets a direct hit, and only causes 1 wound. Now this thing's good against low toughness models, but against high toughness models not very good at all. The casket, deciding he wants to try and kill them off before he gets charged, goes for the same unit for his 3d6 leadership tests and kills a whole one and leaves one with 1 wound. Yeah, it's not too bad, happy with that, but I think I'm going to lose my casket now. So into combat, as you can see, his Barrow Guard are no more, and his Cadaver Wagon's no more, and I'll just turn to face and overrun him with my Sand Scorpion, who then munches his character bunker and ends up like that. And you know, the Fellbats do a couple of wounds to the skeletons, and I win that combat and reform like so, ready for the Spirit Host to come in. So very quick overview of what it looks like there. Now from this point, I think the game's pretty much wrapped up now, and it's definitely ready for the Undying Dynasties victory. So the forever dead of the vampires to continue the onslaught with the vampire spawns charging the casket, and the spirit host charging the skeletal archers. Now magic phase, he gets a really good phase coming up now, but you know he grows. There's not a lot he can grow back. So there's no room. So I've got him in the flanks and rear, so he can't replace anything. And what he does roll a dispel. So the vampire spawn make it in and absolutely annihilate the crap out of the casket and overrun towards the catapult. The fell bats do a couple of wounds to the unit, and the spirit host actually kills my my Hierophant, and I start taking crumble tests. Luckily, the dice gods were with me, and I don't suffer any casualties from the crumbling. And after combat, I managed to put a wound on each of his characters from the Sand Scorpion, and it ends up looking like this. So, Undying Dynasties turn 5, we charge the Necropolis Guard into his character unit, and that's all the charges and movement. Shooting, the catapult goes for the Varkalat, sorry, not the Varkalats, the Vampire Spawn before they kill him. Gets a direct hit on him again. You know, I've had pretty good shooting from this thing, and it's doing pretty average wounds as well, so it's quite a nicely well-rounded machine. Kills the last one off. The Skeleton Archer is a bit unhappy with killing the Hierophant last turn, kills the rest of the swarm, and inevitably those 2 units smash the crap out of his characters, and he starts crumbling everywhere. Everything that can crumble does crumble, from his bats to his his spirit hosts there, and he's just left with his 1 vampire spawn left on the table. So the vampires soldier on, and he charges his vampire spawn into the catapult. and makes very short work of it. This is where it ends, turn 5, there's nothing either of us can do now, so it's a very, very big victory to the Undying Dynasties, cheating cheating aside. We played the game, we finished quite late, we both read the rules again, and we had a bit of a conflab over the telephone. It was about 2 AM that morning, and we did have a chat about if we thought it would have made a difference with the Scorpions. And we both come to the conclusion that, my opponent came to the conclusion primarily that the game would have played slightly differently, but the outcome would have been the same. Victory for the Undying Dynasties, but probably not as big. My MVP unit has got to be the Necropolis Guard. Just taking the synergies from the Pharaoh and the 2-2 Architects is really, really fantastic. It's a very well-rounded army, I think really well balanced. Now, keeping in mind this is an army before the point 11 rules, so I haven't actually played it beyond that yet. But I can foresee a lot of people going towards the Undying Dynasties. It's just for me a really, really nicely written book, and really, really well played as well. I'm not sure, but I think I've got one more game to put up before the new rules come out, and for the new rules I've got a doubles game coming up very soon as well, so I'll try and get those 2 out for you as quick as I can. I'm going to sign off now. I hope you enjoyed watching the report as much as I enjoyed playing it, and don't forget to like, subscribe and comment. Thank you very much. See you soon.